Have you ever felt that cold, primal dread, that paralyzing fear that tightens your chest in the dead of night when you contemplate the end? This terror, the fear of death, is not merely the fear of physical pain, but the profound existential anguish that everything you are, your memories, your unique personality, the intricate web of your love and experiences, will simply vanish into an eternal void. This deep-seated conviction that life is extinguished upon the body's final breath is, perhaps, the most persistent and devastating illusion humanity has ever faced. For generations, we have sought comfort in blind faith or succumbed to the bleakness of materialism, yet neither truly satisfies the inquiring mind or truly dispels the shadow of the unknown. This profound fear of the void is precisely what motivated Allan Kardec, the great investigator and codifier of the spirit world, to dedicate his life to a rational, scientific, and empirical study of the afterlife. Kardec, a respected educator and intellectual, did not begin as a mystic. He approached the phenomena of spiritual communication with a demanding, skeptical rigor, analyzing thousands of accounts before drawing his conclusions. He unearthed a vital, transformative truth: that death is not the termination of existence, but a simple, natural process of transition. He left us a final, powerful instruction, a spiritual blueprint designed to dismantle this universal fear, asserting that what we should truly fear is not the moment of transition, but a life poorly lived. This video is an exploration of that blueprint. We are going to delve into the profound depths of the Spiritist doctrine, providing detailed evidence and logical explanations that promise to change your perspective on mortality forever, granting you the power to face life and its inevitable transition without fear. The foundation of overcoming the fear of death rests upon understanding the nature of the soul, a subject Allan Kardec approached not with religious fervor, but with the cool, analytical precision of a natural scientist. His real name was Hippolyte Léon Denisard Rivail, a renowned professor of physics, chemistry, mathematics, and philosophy, dedicated to the rigorous educational methods of Pestalozzi. When the peculiar phenomena of the rapping tables and mediumistic communications began to sweep across Europe in the mid-19th century, Rivail was initially skeptical, seeing them merely as curiosities or trickery. However, his academic discipline compelled him to investigate. He realized that the phenomena, however bizarre, were consistent and seemed to be intelligent, thus demanding a serious, rational explanation. His methodology was one of exhaustive comparison. He began to gather and meticulously compile hundreds, then thousands, of communications received through various mediums across different countries, looking for consistency, logic, and a unified doctrine. He was not satisfied with a single source. He employed a strict criterion of universal concordance, discarding anything contradictory, nonsensical, or frivolous, retaining only the teachings that converged across multiple independent sources over time. This process, spanning several years, culminated in the publication of the Spirit's Book in 1857 under the pseudonym Allan Kardec, establishing that the communications were not random musings, but a cohesive philosophical and moral revelation dictated by superior intelligences. His core conclusion, the great antidote to the fear of death, was fundamentally logical and scientific. The spirit is the intelligent principle of the universe, and it is immortal. The physical body is merely a temporary, perishable vehicle, a tool used by the spirit for its evolution in the material world, similar to a diver using a specialized suit to explore a dense environment. This distinction between the immortal agent, the spirit, and the mortal instrument, the body, instantly transforms death from an ultimate cessation into a simple change of state. Kardec's work provided the definitive answer to the fear of the unknown. The unknown has been systematically mapped and rationally explained, revealing an immense and logical cosmos where nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. The sheer intellectual rigor he applied ensured that the Spiritist doctrine was founded on reason, not just blind acceptance, making it profoundly appealing to the mature mind, seeking solid evidence for the continuation of life. One of the most compelling aspects of the Spiritist revelation is the sheer volume of empirical evidence, demonstrating that personal consciousness survives the physical demise of the body, with its memories and individuality fully intact. This directly and powerfully refutes the materialist view that consciousness is merely an epiphenomenon of the brain, extinguishing when the organ fails. Cases of detailed and verifiable communication through reliable mediums provide irrefutable, lived testimony to the continuous existence of personality and self-awareness. Consider the poignant experience documented concerning Maria Helena Vasquez, a devoted mother whose life was tragically cut short in a car accident in Guadalajara, Mexico in 1976. Her heartbroken husband, Roberto, consumed by grief and the desperate need to know if his wife was truly gone, traveled all the way to Brazil to seek the assistance of the renowned medium Chico Xavier. During the communication, Maria Helena's spirit communicated with an astounding clarity and specificity, providing intimate, verifiable details that only she could have possibly known. She spoke of the exact obscure hiding place where she secretly kept her grandmother's valuable jewelry. She recalled the specific, private conversation she had shared with her youngest son on the evening before the accident. And she even mentioned a distinctive architectural detail recently added to their home. Most dramatically, she revealed her immediate experience of the transition. She described feeling a momentary sensation of falling asleep during the crash, only to awaken instantly, finding herself standing upright, perfectly lucid, right beside her own lifeless physical body. Crucially, she emphasized the lack of drama or terror. There were no blinding tunnels of light or sudden, overwhelming mystical visions. She simply continued to exist, but in a state of heightened clarity and perception, liberated from the limitations of the physical form. She confirmed that she was present at her own funeral, not as a mournful ghost, but as a comforting, active presence, enveloping her family in love from the spiritual plane, hearing their prayers and feeling their pain. This testimony is crucial because it aligns perfectly with Kardec's codification. The mind, the seat of identity, is not the brain. The brain is merely the receiving and transmitting organ, like a television set. When the antenna, the brain, is destroyed, the signal, the spirit's consciousness, is not erased. It is merely freed from its material constraint, maintaining its unique stamp of identity, capable of observing, remembering, and feeling with profound intensity. Such accounts turn the concept of survival from an abstract belief into a documented reality, demonstrating that death is merely a change of address in the greater house of the universe, and our loved ones are always just a thought away. To bridge the gap between the purely immaterial spirit and the densely material body, Kardec's thorough investigation, detailed in the Medium's book, revealed the existence of the perispirit, or spirit body. This is a crucial rational element for understanding survival, as it answers the fundamental question: if the spirit is immaterial thought, how can it interact with or be contained within a physical body, and what gives it form, identity, and sensitivity after death? The perispirit is defined as a fluidic, semi-material envelope that links the spirit to the physical body. It is formed from a subtle ethereal substance, a highly refined cosmic fluid, drawn by the spirit from the general atmosphere of the planet where it exists, analogous to an energetic cloak. It serves as the vehicle of the soul, acting as the indispensable intermediary through which the spirit's volitions and thoughts are transmitted to the physical organs, causing movement, and through which the sensations, pain, pleasure, temperature of the physical body are registered and experienced by the spirit. Think of the perispirit as a sophisticated energetic blueprint or an etheric double, perfectly mirroring the physical body during incarnate life and maintaining the integrity of the form. The existence of this spiritual body explains many perplexing phenomena, such as phantom limb pain after an amputation, where the spirit, still feeling its perispiritual limb intact, transmits pain signals that the physical brain registers as originating from the missing appendage. It is the perispirit that is often seen by psychics and sensitives, sometimes described as a luminous, ethereal aura or a translucent body of light. At the precise moment of physical death, it is not the spirit itself that detaches, but the perispirit that withdraws, severing the silver cord, a vital, energetic bond often described in near-death experiences and mystical traditions that tethered it to the physical form. Once this severance is complete, the perispirit, now the spirit's immediate covering, retains the exact form, features, and individual identity of the person. This is why spirits are recognizable when they communicate or appear in dreams. They are presenting themselves in their spiritual bodies, which remain the repository of all the individual's memories, character traits, and feelings. Without the perispirit, the spirit would be a nebulous, unorganized thought. With it, the soul retains its distinct personal shape, ensuring that the I that existed on earth is the very same I that continues its evolution on the spiritual plane, forever eliminating the fear of losing one's identity. For the mature mind grappling with the perceived finality of existence, the most powerful psychological tool provided by Spiritism is the complete reframing of death, not as an ending, but as a rebirth into a wider, more expansive reality. This transformative perspective is beautifully articulated by the superior spirit Joanna de Angelis through the medium Divaldo Franco, who compares the process of disembodiment to the moment of physical birth, but in reverse. A baby, while developing in the womb, is confined to a dense, restricted, fluidic environment. For it, the uterus represents its entire known universe, and the constraints of the material body are analogous to the walls of a small chamber. When the baby is born, it experiences a violent, often stressful transition from darkness to light, from water to air, and from a solitary existence to a world of endless stimuli, movement, and complexity. Yet we do not say the baby has died. We celebrate its birth into a new, complex reality. Similarly, the spirit, while incarnated, is confined within the dense, limiting vessel of the physical body. It is subject to the heavy laws of matter, constrained by the sluggishness of the senses, and forced to abide by the linear march of time. The moment of death, or desencarnation, is the spirit's emergence from this material womb back into its natural, free state, the spiritual world. Therefore, the death of the body is, in fact, the birth of the spirit into a dimension of expanded consciousness, where thought is instantaneous, movement is effortless, and perception is limitless. This analogy completely neutralizes the terror associated with the process. If birth is a natural, necessary, and ultimately joyous event for the continuation of life, then death must be equally natural and necessary for the continuation of eternal spiritual evolution. Furthermore, this reframing transforms the concept of loss into one of graduation. When we mourn a loved one, we are mourning the loss of their physical presence, but the spirit itself has simply completed its current course of study on earth and moved on to a higher, more evolved phase of existence, where the potential for learning and service is far greater. This understanding allows the pain of separation to be transmuted into a powerful, rational hope, reinforcing the profound truth that life itself, for the spirit, is unending and constantly progressing. In a universe governed by immutable laws, Kardec's investigation revealed that the moral and ethical conduct of a spirit during its life on Earth dictates the quality of its transition and its future condition in the spiritual plane. This is the law of consequence, the scientifically documented reality of what is popularly known as karma. This law establishes that every action, thought, and intention creates a vibrational or energetic result that directly affects the spirit's internal state. It is a universal mechanism of divine justice, not a form of arbitrary punishment, but a pedagogical tool for spiritual growth, ensuring that the spirit itself is the architect of its destiny. The law ensures that no true injustice exists. What may appear as an unfair fate or an unmerited suffering on earth is often, from the soul's elevated perspective, a necessary opportunity for moral learning and the balancing of previous errors, a self-imposed, accepted lesson. When the spirit sheds its physical body, its moral condition is immediately unveiled. During its earthly existence, the spirit can use the body as a kind of moral cloak, hiding its true intentions and imperfections behind societal rules and appearances. However, upon disembodiment, the spirit finds itself immersed in a fluidic, resonant environment, where thought creates reality and attraction is based on moral affinity. The spirit's dominant moral vibration instantly attracts it to similar spheres within the spiritual world. A spirit that lived in love, generosity, and dedication to the good maintains a light, elevated vibrational pattern, resulting in a smooth, peaceful transition and immediate access to higher, luminous planes of existence, surrounded by spirits of similar moral elevation. Conversely, a spirit consumed by egoism, hatred, malice, or powerful material attachment possesses a heavy, dense, and disturbed vibration. This internal disorder leads to a turbulent, often agonizing transition and confinement to lower, darker, or more confused spheres that are merely a reflection of its own internal chaos, a self-created purgatory. As the superior spirit Emmanuel communicated through Chico Xavier, death is like a mirror that reflects exactly what we were in life. It is impossible to deceive this law. The final destination is not decreed by a wrathful God, but is self-determined, a direct result of the choices made throughout life, emphasizing that the primary focus of life should be on moral improvement and service, not fear of its ending. The concept of the law of consequence leads inevitably to the understanding of reincarnation as the essential mechanism of spiritual evolution and redemption. If a soul has incurred moral debts, neglected to develop necessary virtues, or failed its previous missions in one life, it is granted further opportunities, multiple lives, to correct its path, learn its lessons, and progress toward perfection. But the process is not random, nor is it forced. Kardec meticulously revealed that the soul actively participates in the planning of its subsequent existence. Before returning to the physical plane, the spirit, in consultation with wise spiritual guides and mentors, is allowed to review its past errors and identify the specific lessons it still needs to master. It then consciously chooses the trials, challenges, and circumstances, including family, social status, and even certain physical limitations that will best facilitate that specific learning. This astonishing teaching removes the element of victimhood from suffering. When faced with a major difficulty, we can understand it not as an arbitrary punishment, but as a self-imposed necessary test, a challenging but ultimately beneficial lesson that the spirit freely accepted for its own growth. For example, a soul that struggled with pride and arrogance in a past life might choose to be born into humble circumstances to learn humility, or a soul that harmed others might choose a life involving physical suffering to learn empathy and patience. Edgar Cayce, the American sleeping prophet whose readings remarkably corroborated Spiritist principles, also confirmed this profound mechanism, explaining that the soul is provided a complete blueprint of the experiences needed and selects the exact environment, family, country, physical body, and social conditions to acquire those experiences. The famous documented case of Marta Lawrence, a young girl in Argentina who accurately recalled minute details of her life as a schoolteacher decades prior to her birth, provides a powerful illustration of this continuity of identity across multiple physical lives and the reality of the re-embodiment process. This comprehensive understanding of the soul's plan is the ultimate reassurance against the meaninglessness of suffering. Every tear, every challenge, every act of resilience is not wasted, but is a vital, self-directed step towards spiritual perfection, making every day precious. One of the deepest sources of fear and sorrow surrounding death is the perceived absolute final separation from loved ones. The Spiritist doctrine offers profound and rational consolation by asserting that love is the most enduring and potent force in the universe, and that the bond between true souls is not severed by the physical demise of the body. Kardec explicitly states that spirits, upon disembodiment, not only retain their individual personality, but also fully conserve their capacity for love, their deep affections, and their tireless desire to aid those they cherished in life. Death is merely a physical separation, a temporary veil cast between dimensions, not a spiritual divorce. The spiritual presence of our loved ones is often far closer than we imagine, limited only by our own ability to perceive or accept their influence. Consider the touching and immensely verifiable example of Juano Pereira, a father who communicated just 3 days after a fatal train accident, not to mourn his fate, but to actively protect his family's material future. He provided precise details about hidden insurance documents and important financial papers that his wife was completely unaware of, allowing the family to secure their livelihood and avoiding great financial distress. More importantly, he assured them that he was constantly accompanying, guiding, and comforting them from the spiritual plane, detailing the specific moments he was near his children. This revelation fundamentally changes the dynamic between the living and the deceased. Our loved ones are not passive shades in a distant, inaccessible heaven. They are active, evolving beings who surround us, offering assistance, inspiration, and comfort. The feeling of being watched over, of receiving a sudden intuition, a wave of inexplicable comfort, or a moment of clarity during a time of great distress is often attributed by Spiritism to the direct, loving action of our spiritual protectors. Their desire to help is constrained only by the moral laws of the universe, and they can only intervene in ways that promote our long-term spiritual welfare and personal moral growth, always respecting our free will. Therefore, the greatest homage we can pay to those we have lost is not through unending, debilitating grief, but through living our lives with love, moral purpose, and resilience, thus raising our own spiritual vibration to facilitate a closer, more conscious communion with them. For the Spirit to maintain this close connection, and for us to receive their comforting guidance, a mechanism for communication must exist. Allan Kardec, a man who required tangible proof, employed the beautiful and easy-to-understand analogy of radio waves to explain the coexistence of the physical and spiritual worlds. Just as thousands of radio and television signals fill the air around us simultaneously, unseen and unheard, until we tune our receiver to the correct frequency, so too does the spiritual world coexist with ours, overlapping completely. The medium is simply a specialized radio receiver, an individual with a natural, developed capacity to tune into and translate these spiritual frequencies. However, Kardec did not leave communication to chance or mere curiosity. He provided rigorous guidelines for safe, elevated interaction based on the principle of attraction by moral affinity. He discovered that the most direct, universally accessible, and safest method for tuning into the highest frequencies is through sincere prayer. Prayer, in the Spiritist view, is not a mere begging for favors, but a powerful conscious act of syntony that creates a high-frequency vibration, automatically attracting spirits of the same moral and intellectual caliber. The quality of the prayer determines the quality of the response. A prayer offered with humility, love, and a focus on moral progress and genuine spiritual education will attract superior spirits who communicate with wisdom and benevolence. Conversely, frivolous, selfish, or morally base intentions will attract inferior, often deceitful or mischievous spirits. The rules for safe communication established by Kardec are simple but absolute. All communication must have an elevated moral purpose: consolation, education, moral progress. It must be conducted with the utmost seriousness and respect, never for entertainment, and it must always be filtered through the vital criterion of universal concordance. A teaching is only accepted as truth if it is confirmed by multiple reliable sources, and most importantly, if it is in line with universal love and wisdom. This emphasis on reason and moral evaluation ensures that the fear of harmful spiritual influence is mitigated, empowering individuals to use prayer and spiritual study as their constant, protected channel to the higher realms. We now return to the core issue, the overwhelming fear of death itself. Kardec sought to dismantle this fear by reframing the very nature of our physical existence. He taught that the spirit, in its endless journey, is often weighed down by the restrictions of its physical body. The body is subject to disease, decay, hunger, and pain. It filters perceptions, limits movement, and imposes the slow, linear constraints of time. In a poetic and profound instruction, Kardec transmitted the words of a superior spirit who compared the fear of death to the fear a long-term prisoner feels just before the door of his cell is finally opened for liberation. The prisoner, having spent so long within the familiar confines of his small cell, may develop a strange attachment to its predictable limits and fear the dazzling, expansive uncertainty of the world outside. The body, then, is our temporary prison. Death is not the executioner, it is the liberator. Once the spirit is freed, it realizes that the true reality is the immense multidimensional expanse of the spiritual plane, where thought is instantaneous, movement is effortless, and perception is limitless. This reframing instantly nullifies the anxiety. Why fear the moment that leads to ultimate freedom, to the blissful reunion with loved ones, and to a level of existence where one can continue to learn and serve without the incessant constraints and limitations of matter? The real lesson of the Spiritist doctrine is that the only thing we should truly fear is moral stagnation, failing to utilize the precious gift of our current life for growth, for love, and for selfless service. That failure is the only thing that can complicate the transition and delay the true freedom and peace that awaits the prepared spirit. The body is but a tool, the soul is the master, and the master never fears discarding a worn-out, broken instrument. If the fear of death is irrational, the preparation for a peaceful transition is entirely rational, systematic, and achievable. The spiritual masters affirmed emphatically that the manner in which we live determines the manner in which we die. The transition is not a random event, it is a direct consequence, a seamless continuation of the life we have built for ourselves through our thoughts and actions. For a spirit that has cultivated pure thoughts, compassionate actions, and selfless love, the departure from the body is gentle, like a calm awakening from a peaceful sleep. Having already attuned their consciousness to the benevolent frequencies of the higher spiritual spheres through goodness, they are immediately welcomed and guided by luminous spirits, a process likened to simply slipping away from a worn garment. However, for a spirit consumed by materialistic attachments, unresolved hatreds, and habitual cruelty, the transition is agonizing. Their intense, suffocating attachment to the physical world creates a violent tearing sensation during disembodiment, and their low, turbulent mental vibration leaves them isolated in lower, reflective zones of the spiritual plane, often experiencing profound anguish and mental confusion, a purgatory that is entirely self-created by their own internal state. Chico Xavier, who lived a life of exemplary charity and service, exemplified this principle. Having witnessed countless peaceful transitions through his mediumship, he had absolutely no fear of his own end, living each day in joyful anticipation of his spiritual liberation. The most effective, practical preparation for death is therefore not some last-minute conversion, but the consistent daily effort toward moral reform, selfless service, and the relentless cultivation of love and forgiveness. As the superior spirits urge, we must live each day as if it were the most valuable opportunity for our eternal progress, for when the transition comes, the only treasures we can take with us are the virtues we have acquired and the love we have given. The quality of your death is being determined by the quality of your life right now. We have traversed the fundamental pillars of the Spiritist revelation, moving the discussion of mortality from the realm of terrifying mystery to the clarity of rational understanding. We have established that your consciousness is persistent, your soul is eternal, and your life's purpose is an evolutionary journey carefully planned by your own spirit. You are not a fragile organism destined for oblivion, but an infinite being temporarily experiencing the constraints of the material world for the purpose of learning and growth. The great final lesson imparted by Allan Kardec is a profound shift in focus. Do not fear the end of the body. Fear the misuse of the opportunity that the body provides. This is the ultimate call to action. Armed with this knowledge, you are liberated from the paralyzing dread that shackles millions. Your every choice today, the kindness you show, the lesson you seek, the forgiveness you grant, is not merely a fleeting ethical act, but a direct investment in the peace and illumination of your future spiritual existence. Live fully, love deeply, forgive completely, and serve generously. For when that final, inevitable moment arrives, it will not be a tragedy but a celebration, the glorious moment when you finally shed the temporal weight of the earth and remember with joyous clarity who you have always been, a magnificent, eternal being of light, simply moving on to the next higher school of the soul. The curtain on this earthly stage may close, but your infinite play has only just begun.